Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
This live stream did not begin with anger, accusation, or a dramatic revelation. It began with exhaustion, the kind of exhaustion that cannot be staged or rehearsed. After 4 consecutive days of concerts, when the applause had faded and the venue lights were already off, Liu Yuning appeared on screen not as a triumphant star, but as a visibly tired man, trying to stay awake long enough to say thank you. That was the first shock. Viewers expected celebration, excitement, maybe even a recap of success. Instead, they were met with honesty, delivered calmly, almost cautiously, and then, sentence by sentence, something far heavier began to surface. Not gossip, not scandal, but truths that people inside the entertainment industry rarely allow themselves to say out loud. Within minutes, what looked like an ordinary post-concert live stream quietly turned into a mirror reflecting the hidden pressure, silent guilt, and unspoken rules of modern show business. Many fans would later say the same thing. They clicked in expecting comfort, but stayed because they felt unsettled. This was not the kind of shock that screams. It was the kind that sinks in slowly and refuses to leave. He spoke first about his physical condition, not to seek sympathy, but to explain why he looked the way he did. The schedule had been relentless, rehearsals that felt like full performances, followed by final run-throughs in full costume, and then consecutive nights on stage without real recovery time. Jet lag from overseas work had not faded. Rest had been postponed again and again. What made this moment unusual was not the admission of fatigue itself, but the absence of complaint. He did not frame his exhaustion as sacrifice or heroism. He simply stated it as fact. In an industry where overwork is often romanticized, that quiet realism immediately felt different. Viewers could sense that this was not a performance. It was a person choosing not to hide behind energy he no longer had. Then came the moment that shifted the emotional center of the live stream. He spoke about the audience, not in the abstract sense of numbers or turnout, but in terms of money. Real money. Travel costs, accommodation, meals, ticket prices. He mentioned that some fans might spend close to a month's salary just to attend a single concert. What followed was not pride nor encouragement to give more. It was guilt. He admitted that when he sings lyrics about people traveling far and spending their savings to see him, he feels a tightening in his chest. Not because of devotion, but because of responsibility. This was the second shock. In a culture where fan sacrifice is often celebrated, hearing an artist express discomfort rather than gratitude disrupted a familiar narrative. The live stream stopped feeling like a fan event and started feeling like a conversation many people had never heard before. He went further, gently but firmly. He told viewers that once they bought a ticket, their happiness mattered more than any expected behavior inside the venue. They did not need to wave in unison, shout on cue, or match anyone else's enthusiasm. They were not there to perform loyalty. They were there to feel joy in whatever way felt natural to them. With that statement, something subtle but powerful happened. The usual hierarchy between artist and fan softened. Support was no longer framed as obligation. It became a personal choice. For many viewers, this was deeply relieving. For others, it was quietly unsettling because it challenged long-standing assumptions about what it means to be a good fan. Only after establishing this human connection did he begin to speak about the industry itself. He did not raise his voice. He did not name names. He did not position himself as a rebel. He simply described a trend that has become impossible to ignore. Dramas are now judged almost instantly by data. Views, rankings, engagement charts, comparative numbers. As soon as a show airs, conversations shift away from story and performance and toward metrics. When numbers look strong, success is declared. When they do not, failure is announced just as quickly. What disturbed him most was not competition, but distortion. He pointed out that data can look impressive, while genuine viewership remains shallow. Resources are poured into maintaining appearances rather than improving content. Promotion replaces storytelling. And once that cycle begins, everyone inside it feels pressured to participate whether they believe in it or not. The most revealing sentence came quietly. He said that even though he is part of this industry and must follow its rules, he does not like where it is heading. There was no bitterness in his tone, only resignation mixed with concern. That single line resonated widely because it captured a feeling many people share but rarely articulate. It suggested that the problem is not individual intent, but a system that rewards surface success over substance. No villains were identified, no dramatic blame was assigned. The discomfort came precisely from how reasonable and recognizable the situation sounded. He then spoke about his own choices as an actor. His preference for historical dramas, he explained, comes from the distance they provide. In those roles, he can fully inhabit a character without carrying his real-world identity into every scene. Modern settings blur that boundary. Audiences stop seeing the role and begin projecting assumptions onto the person behind it. For him, acting is meant to be immersion, not exposure. This was not a rejection of modern storytelling, but a reflection on how constant visibility can erode creative space. In an era where live streams, social media, and behind-the-scenes access are constant, the line between performance and personal life grows increasingly thin. His words gave voice to a quiet anxiety shared by many performers, even if few acknowledge it publicly. What made the live stream particularly impactful was what it did not include. There were no call for understanding, no request for support, no attempt to turn honesty into advantage. When it ended, it did so simply. He thanked those who attended the concert, those who watched online, and wished everyone a peaceful night. That was all. And yet, the silence that followed carried weight. Clips spread rapidly, not because of outrage, but because people recognized sincerity. Viewers commented not with slogans, but with reflection. Some questioned their own habits as audiences. Others expressed relief at hearing an artist prioritize mental and emotional boundaries. The viral effect did not come from shock value alone, but from resonance. This moment revealed something important about today's media environment. Audiences are no longer drawn only to spectacle. They are drawn to clarity. In a landscape crowded with noise, a calm voice speaking carefully can feel radical. The live stream did not expose secrets in the traditional sense. It exposed pressure, guilt, and contradiction. And in doing so, It reminded viewers that behind every polished statistic is a human being navigating expectations that rarely pause to ask how anyone is actually coping. If you stayed with this story until the end, thank you for taking the time to listen beyond the headlines. Conversations like this matter because they encourage us to look at entertainment not just as content, but as connection. If you appreciate thoughtful updates, real-world perspectives, and stories that go deeper than surface drama, consider subscribing to Update X 24 Hours. Your support helps us continue sharing moments that inform, reflect, and resonate. Thank you for watching, and we hope you will stay with us for more conversations that invite understanding rather than noise.